Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. Um, and I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I guess I'll wait a couple of minutes for some people to get in chat. If you are in chat, welcome to the live stream. Um, hey, Targeted Maryland 2019, how you doing? Um, I was going to keep it short tonight. I'm sure, as a lot of you other targeted individuals know, the holidays are kind of a double-edged sword. So I was hanging out with my family. Hey, Future Knowledge Man, how you doing? I gotta check up on your newer videos. Hey, Wayne, how you doing? Hey, Artist of Elion. Um, I guess I did want to kind of talk about. Oh, so okay, Target Maryland 2019 says it's been better. That's great. That's great. For me, it's been a little bit harder lately. My defenses are still, working pretty good, but it's like on Thanksgiving, I took everything off and I had like a bunch of my Q wave defenders went out like before Thanksgiving, so I had to recharge them. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go to Thanksgiving and just take everything off, take all my defenses off, go away from the ZVS driver. And man, when I was hanging around my family for a couple of hours on Thanksgiving, I got slammed. My attackers were just externally hitting me in the jaw and the cheek. The remote neural manipulation was worse. They used that opportunity of me getting away from my defenses to just lay it on me. And then, of course, the family thinking you're mentally ill and stuff like that. That's fine. I love my family. Like I was saying, being a targeted individual during the holidays, it's a double-edged sword for me. I know some targeted individuals, it's just a freaking sword, because you don't really hang out with your family. They may be gang stalking you or something. For me, it's like the family members who believe me are being targeted, and the ones who don't believe me, I mean, they tell me to my face. At least they tell me to my face. My brother was like, "Oh God, I'm so angry about that." That's why I haven't made a video. I didn't make a video right after because it's psychologically so tough. Like when you're being cooked, your spine's being cooked, your head's being cooked, and then your brother, who you're supposed to have this certain relationship with, he said, like, while we were talking, me and him, my dad were talking outside, and he made this first of all, he made this comment saying, like, after 9/11, it really brought this country together. And I actually like got up, like I don't know what got into me, because I've been pretty good at just like, okay, I'm just going to talk to my family and not really talk about this. But somehow we got into the conversation of, this surveillance network, this torture network. My dad doesn't believe me. He says, I believe you believe it. My brother definitely doesn't believe me. And he made this comment later on in our conversation saying that, and hey, Deb, hey Cheryl. Cheryl says, Kyle, hello, how are you? Eh, I'm eh. I'm okay. It's not unbearable, but some things that my family members said to me really got to me. Really got to me because we've just been going through this for so long, right? And yeah, I'm just gonna say that this isn't like a concrete statement, but it's an emotional statement. I feel like we should be further along. I feel like at this time I'd be having conversations with my brother and my dad, and they'd be like, "Ooh, well, yeah, the NSA is doing all this spying, and the DoD is doing experimentation, but you can't save the world. Just try and take care of yourself as much as you can and help other people," which it kind of is. Like my dad's, like I tell him about these videos, and he's like, "Well, it's good that you're helping people." But he's like the number one. My dad is getting older, and he's actually almost been killed by this program, which he just thinks was an aneurysm or whatever. And he's in the phase of, this world doesn't matter at all, and we've got to prepare for the next life. So he's like on your videos, just really tell people that Jesus Christ is the way, and they need to believe in Jesus Christ and get close with God, for our eternal existence after this testing ground, you know. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of reason that we're here. God put us here for a reason. God even, you know, made us targeted. This happened to us for some kind of reason. I still believe that, but I do believe in an afterlife. So that's going to be an easy thing that my dad wants me to do with my channel. But my brother, like while we were talking, he said, he goes, I'm remembering a quote, and he was talking about me. He was trying to do it in this general kind of passive way, but he said, you know, I'm remembering a quote from Abraham Lincoln, where he said, better for people to think that you're a fool than to open your mouth and confirm it. And he was talking about me because I was talking about, you know, this torture and everything like that. Very sad because I love my brother. He's super smart to the point where I would think that he could figure out that this is happening. But when people don't want to believe something's happening, when they want to go on and live their, you know, simple life, I want to live a simple life. You know, I want my simple life, but I didn't choose this. I feel like it. Well, this is an obvious thing, right? I'm going to say something very obvious. You know, we're getting attacked by, you know, microwave weapons, remote neuro weapons. It is horrifying, a horrifying war every day of our lives that we're trying to defend, and we're trying to do activism and trying to get all this information out. And yet people who really, really don't want to believe it, and they'll do whatever it takes to say it's not happening and go on with their simple lives, they re-victimize us, and we're selfish, mentally ill people, you know, who just want to make things complicated. You know, that's how my brother and my dad kind of see me. They love me and I love them, but they see me as a person. I just want to make things complicated. I'm a conspiracy theorist, mentally ill guy, and I'm making everything complicated. And if I just chose to have a simple life, I could just have a simple life. And that is a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling because I didn't choose this. You guys didn't choose this. It's a horrific war. And to be re-victimized, like we just kind of chose this. We just chose to make this up when it's what, you know, at least 3% of the world who's being directly targeted by weapons, by electronic, you know, electronic remote weapons, remote directed energy weapons, directed energy weapons. I think a lot more people are being electronically surveilled, you know, maybe up to like 90% of the globe is being electronically surveilled. And then you've got people who are being hurt from the non-ionizing microwave radiation off their phones and stuff like that. Lynette, beloved daughter of God, says, I am thankful that most of my close family members are born-again Christians and they all love me, although my dad has a hard time believing that there are very evil and deceitful people out there. Yeah, yeah. Deb Full of Grace says, if it were that simple. Yeah. And then it's like this. I mean, okay, I want to talk about something my dad told me the day after Thanksgiving that just, it's almost like he took a knife and just shoved it in my heart. He was trying to help too. This is the thing about my family. They love me, and he says certain things that go along with his reality that he has, and it's almost, I mean, it's like, But I did want to mention first, my mom does believe me. She's the only family member that does believe me. And a couple of months before Thanksgiving, no, I guess a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, they went to visit some friends in Texas. And my mom, just like my girlfriend, they're extremely allergic to cats and dogs. They're extremely allergic to pet dander. And so my mom's been having a lot of trouble with that. She is targeted. I know it 100%. Can't prove it. You know, I can't prove it. I can't prove it to her. I don't even really try so much. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to, you know, how to communicate with her and how to deal with that so she doesn't get pulled in anymore, so she doesn't get punished by the, you know, her attackers that are hooked into her. They went to visit some friends in Texas, and they had cats. So my mom was having like an asthma attack, but she went into cardiac arrest. I mean, she went into cardiac arrest, and what I think happened is she's been helping me out a lot lately. She believes me. She's the one who you know, bought the plane tickets for me to go see Dr. Hoffer, who bought food while we were there, who got the hotel for us and everything. So she believes me and she's trying to help me. And I feel like you know, she has the allergies. She went to visit her friends in Texas. She's having an allergy attack. She was having like some lung problems from that, and her attackers then took to that, something that was happening, and just, you know, what's it called? They increased what was going on into something worse, and that's what I really feel like. So the other side of it, my family member that does believe me, you know, her attackers are really punishing her, and she doesn't even know she's being targeted. So, and I look at my brother, I'm like, you know, my brother's just like, you know, I don't believe this, you know, there's no way that that's happening. You need to live a simple life. You're looking at this big picture of the world, which is true. You know, I think as targeted individuals, we see this global genocide, this global torture, and we're fighting it 24 hours a day. And it's not a good way to live our lives. It's not a good way to be psychologically. It's not like we have a choice because it's happening to us. But it's not healthy. If we did have a choice to just, like, you know, live our lives, help people around us, and then this wasn't happening to us, you know, we shouldn't look at all the bad things that are going on in the world all the time. So he has a certain point on that. But the positive thing, right? Let's look at the silver lining, right? Ugh. Yeah, there's some silver linings. I'm feeling kind of, I'm just feeling really depressed, and I just wish, you know, sometimes it's hard to know how far we've come, you know, because people, you know, stay silent about this, or they want to call people mentally ill or something. So we don't necessarily know exactly how many people do know about this in society. But I was looking at him and I was like, I didn't say this, but I was like, you know, the good thing is he's not going to be targeted. He's compliant. He goes hunting. He doesn't, you know, he's not going to look into conspiracy facts, like what's really happening in the world. He's going to, you know, do his job and live his simple life. And, you know, he said something about, like, he, you know, if somebody, like if a kid was drowning or somebody was hurting, he would jump in and help them. And he doesn't help me. Like but that's because he doesn't believe this is happening, right? And I was just thinking, well, at least the silver lining is he's not going to be targeted. He's one of those people they'll leave alone, because whatever it takes, he is not going to look into this. He's not going to admit that it's happening. He is the, you know, I don't want to say too much stuff about him. He's a smart guy. He is a good guy. With this, he just doesn't believe it's going on. And you know, sometimes I'm kind of like, well, you know, I want my brother to understand that this is happening, because soon, like in the next year, couple of years, people are going to know that this is happening. How's my brother going to feel when he finds out that everything I was saying was true and it was horrifying, and he just said, oh, I don't believe you? He's going to feel like shit. So sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm kind of, I want him to understand this is going on so he doesn't have to feel that way later on. As soon as possible, that people know that this is going on, they don't have to feel like a jerk in the future, like, oh, this was going on and we were just calling these people mentally ill. You know, it's for them too. And then just one more thing. And hey, Jeff, hey, Tanya, hey, Third Eye Justice. And I said hello to Lynette. Hey, Ella Advocate, Melbourne, MELB-OZ. She has a great channel. Ella Advocate, Ella Advocate, MELB-OZ. She has a great channel, so check that out. Mo Smith says, did you mean to use the word expounded or exasperated on your mom's allergy attack? Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works, Mo. Thank you. Yeah, it was like, you know, when they take something you're already going through, and then they actually do the electronic attacks to increase it, exasperate it. Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word. So one more thing about Thanksgiving, and this was the thing that really ripped my heart out. I love my dad though, and I'm coming to a point where it's just like I'm going to hang out with him, and I'm just going to tell him I'm doing a good job, and we're doing a good job, and we're all doing activism. There's some things in the world that need to be taken care of. I'm just going to kind of be general about it. I don't know how I'm going to go forward with my mom. I don't want her to be hurt anymore, and so I'm thinking that I may just do what I can do and maybe tell her about it, but maybe leave her out of like giving me money and stuff like that to do it, because I think her attacker. They're like, she's a threat now. She could potentially. She's already been a threat because she brought me to see Dr. Hoffer, and that was a big thing. And they're like, she has money. She has a little bit of money that she can help me with, and so she's a huge threat. And I think they're really, really hurt. She's so tired and just so worn out, and I know that it's from targeting. God, it's hard. But me and my dad, the next day, like I was walking Pepper, and my dad was outside, like loading stuff into their car to bring to the warehouse, and like he came over to talk to me, and I was feeling so bad, and I didn't know why I was feeling bad, but my right hearing aid, the battery was very low, and so I was having pain in my spine and my jaw a lot more than usual. Then I put a new battery in later, and immediately my back started feeling better, my jaw started feeling better. So these things help with the remote neural manipulation. They help with the nervous system pain. But so my dad comes up to me, and I'm like, oh, well, Dad, I'm sorry about talking about that stuff so much. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore to my parents. Sometimes I feel like I got to talk about the stuff that's happening, but then it's like, I'm just like, man, the reactions that I get from my dad and my brother, it's like, okay, I'm sorry about talking. We'll talk about something else. And he said this to me. He goes, and he was trying to be nice. He was trying to say something wise, and he gives me a lot of good advice, even though he doesn't know that this stuff's going on. He said, well, we are who we are. And I think he saw the disgust in my face, not the disgust for him, but the disgust in the situation, that me and my dad have always been so close. He's always known that I'm not mentally ill, that I help people, that I'm smart. But with this, it was like he was disappointed in who I was. Like we are who we are. And it just, I mean, like I walked inside and I couldn't think for like a couple of hours. I was just like, oh my God, what? We've been working so hard to get this awareness out. My dad said something like that to me, like, and these people are still doing this stuff, and I'm still working on I'm like, oh my, it just crushed me. A little bit better today. That was like 2 days ago, I think. But it hurts. I mean, sometimes the psychological stuff, the way we're separated from people in our families, it hurts worse than some of this, the physical stuff, and then twisting our minds with the neuroweapons. How people react to it hurts a lot worse sometimes. But let's try and find a silver lining. I love my family. I got to spend time with them on Thanksgiving. My aunts treat me very well. My grandmas treat me very well. There was a comment, like we were watching Dr. Phil later on in the day, and I joked with my mom, I'm kind of thinking about doing this, but I kind of think I know how it would go. But I want to send an application to go on the Dr. Phil show and have my mom come on, and whoever in my family, maybe my brother, my dad. I think that would be good to maybe get awareness out. I know that the crowd would be on Dr. Phil's side, and I was kind of saying something about that. I was like, yeah, it'd be good for me to go on Dr. Phil's show because I can kind of speak about this stuff pretty intelligently. And I was like, oh, but the crowd would maybe be on his side. My grandma was like, no, the crowd wouldn't be on his side. He would just tell it like it is. And so my family's kind of like that. They except my mom, everybody else in the family is kind of like about this stuff. They're like, Dr. Phil knows what he's talking about. He says this targeting doesn't exist, and it is mental illness. And he would just tell it like it is. So I kind of needed to bitch about some of that stuff, but I do love my family, and I will, at least they're not targeting me. I'm blessed in that way, because I know a lot of you guys, your families do target you. They actually do participate. Mine, And they don't. My families do not participate in the gang stalking. They do not participate in hurting me. But sometimes the things that they do, because they don't know that it's happening, it's pretty equivalent. It's pretty equivalent to gaslighting me or gang stalking me. Unintentional, of course, right? Like my brother saying that Abraham Lincoln quote, better to keep your mouth shut and people think you're a fool than to open your mouth and confirm it. I mean, my brother, who's like, I'm as smart as him, and I'm doing something important because it was thrust upon me, just like it was thrust upon you guys and other target individuals, for him to call me an idiot about talking about things that are really going on in society when he's saying he would help people that were in trouble. But oh, well, just as long, I mean, that's how this evil system works, right? That's how it stops good people. That's how it stops good people who aren't being directly targeted like us. It says, oh, well, that's mental illness, so you don't need help. As a matter of fact, you can throw those people away. They need to be somewhere. They need to be in a mental institution or a hospital or in jail. You're doing good because these people are dangerous or mentally ill, right? And that's how it gets good people, the deceit, so that we're all not on the same page. There's so many good people in the world, and if we were all on the same page, none of this would have a chance. Everybody would be saying no, and that's where the deception part of all this comes in. They knew this program and the people up at the top of the pyramid, they know that they're not going to be able to turn people against each other. They know that good people would stand up and do what's right unless they trick them all, unless they compartmentalize everybody's knowledge, where everybody lives in a different reality. They divide and conquer, and then it's easy. Then you get a lot of good people doing bad stuff. You get a lot of good people trapped in torture, so they're kind of limited in what they can do in the world, Swag Astronomer says it's probably a coping mechanism so he doesn't feel bad. That's why he doesn't want to believe it's real. Bingo, my man. And I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, Swag Astronomer. Future Knowledge says Dr. Phil is brainwashed by the DSM. I think, guys, I'm just going to be honest here. Let's see. David Irwin has a comment about Dr. Phil. David Irwin says Dr. Phil has always been more interested in straw men than truth. Yeah. And I just want to say this. I think that Dr. Phil is a part of the system. He's a part of the system. He probably knows that this targeting exists, remote neuroweapons, experimentation. He probably knows that this exists, but he would lose his job. He would probably be targeted, so he does what the system wants him to do. I don't think that he is completely, what's the word for it? Somebody help me out. I don't think he's completely ignorant about what's happening, because it's just happening to so many citizens. Cuban embassy attack, China consulate attack, all these targeted individuals speaking out on social media. It's a tsunami of information about this coming out. I don't think that I think maybe some people can trick themselves. So I think my brother's tricking himself. He's like, I don't want to believe in this, so I'm not going to, just like Swag Astronomer was saying, I think Dr. Phil is in a position where he would know that this was happening, and he would be told, because if you want to have a job like Dr. Phil or Oprah or Ellen, you play ball. You have to go along with the military industrial complex, with corporations, medical, and military want you to say, what they want you to cover up and what they want you to talk about. And that's why it's like, I don't even watch the mainstream news anymore. The mainstream news is all about a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter at all. And rarely there's a little glimmer of the very, very important stuff that's murdering us, that's murdering people in the world. It's genocide, torture. Spirit Channel, and hey, Bob, Spirit Channel says these people are selling their souls and the lives of all of us for fame and wealth. Yeah, I think they're making a paycheck. I think that they've been brainwashed into thinking if they advance these weapons for America, just as people in Russia who are hitting people with microwave weapons and gangs, they think we're building this up for our country so another country doesn't, doesn't advance this technology more than us and then come and take us over. So they're brainwashed into thinking there's a justification for sacrificing innocent families. And that's kind of the feeling that I get from a lot of people in the public who are not being directly targeted, even though they're being hurt by 5G, 4G towers, non-ionizing microwave radiation. They're definitely being surveilled. I think everybody in America is definitely being surveilled. But I think that they, they're like, oh, well, that's too bad that happened to y'all. We're going to go ahead and call it mental illness because we really can't do anything about it. It'd make us feel bad if we had to go ahead and admit that something this big was happening and we weren't doing anything about it. I think that's kind of like we're getting closer and closer to where that's the position. And then eventually it's going to be so blatant. It's so blatant right now, but it's going to get to a blatant point where people cannot deny it any longer, or people will call them a coward. This is happening. It's admitted that it's happening, and then it's going to come to a point where people are like, okay, well, everybody knows it's happening. We've got to do something about it. Hey, Vicky Kabanoff says, hi, Kyle. This targeting kills every kind of close relationships by design. It's tough on family members if they aren't targeted. They don't understand what you are going through. Yeah, definitely. And well, let me read Cheryl. Cheryl Lewis says they don't want to believe it because people feel that they may catch our targeting like a disease. And let me read Drunken Ninja. Drunken Ninja says, truth be told, if I wasn't a TI, I'd say that it was crazy. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that when I was talking to my brother, I was like, I don't know if I'd be doing anything about this. Maybe I would think there was something to it, but I wouldn't know how bad it was. And I'd probably just be living my life. I'd have my career and my family. So, yeah, I mean, we've got to kind of understand that. I think at a certain point, I would be like, okay, this is going on, and what can I do? What little things could I do to help these people? Because I would realize that it was going to come to me, because I realized that things happen like that. But yeah, I think about that a lot, Drunken Ninja. And I wanted to say Cheryl's comment, they don't want to believe it because people feel that they may catch our targeting like a disease. That's a very poignant comment, and people do catch this like a disease because we're a person of interest. We're on a terrorist watch list. We're being hit, with remote neuroweapons, remote directed energy weapons. You just go and talk to your dad, or you go and talk to your mom, and they are considered a person of interest now because they're consorting with you. And that's how my mom and my dad, I think, were both targeted. They begin to have more surveillance put on them. Then they're profiled. Should we go ahead and start hitting them with neuroweapons and start attacking them with microwave weapons? And so it does. This is literally a man-made thing with human operators and AI, surveillance and weapons that is spreading because they pick one person. Then if that person talks to friends and family, those people get surveillance on them, and then they decide, are we going to attack those friends and family members? So it does spread like a virus, Hey, politically persecuted Bristol, UK. You say, yep, it appears that I may have a new home, but nothing for sure. That's great. That's great if you're, keeping up with your living space. You're going to have some place to live. It's so hard, for targeted individuals. I've only survived because help from my family. So I do love them. David Irwin says it's a large problem that most feel too small to address in any meaningful way, that they would only be jeopardizing themselves for no meaningful gain. Yeah, that's a very smart comment, Dave. Lately, I've been feeling a little bit more helpless and small on this because I just thought we'd be further along. Maybe we are further along, but the problem is if the mainstream media is not reporting it, then it basically doesn't exist in society. People can just deny it and feel okay about themselves because, hey, I didn't see that on CBS. I didn't see that on ABC. I didn't see that on NBC. But I do want to think, and I haven't watched this yet, but oh man, Ron from Baltimore sent me a text. saying that there was another 60 Minutes episode, because 60 Minutes talked about the China consulate workers, talked about the China consulate attacks. 60 Minutes had another episode, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, where they were talking about like all these consumer products and these things that can mind read, and where does everybody think that's coming from? They think it's just like, oh, we built this electronic contraption, and it should be able to read people's minds. We're not sure it's theoretical, but we'll just try. Oh, worked the first time. No. Lots of experimentation. We're being experimented on by different agencies and different contractors under the NSA, the DOD, the CIA, and things like that. The military-industrial complex is medical, consumer, and military weapons. So these consumer products coming out, like the Google headsets, the Facebook, crap, all that stuff, that comes from experimentation on targeted individuals. The medical things, like the new things coming out at MIT, that they're like, oh, these people just discovered that you could put an electromagnetic field around somebody's head and then a bidirectional stream of infrasound going to their head, and you could actually affect neurons. You could affect brain activity. You could put a thought in there. Oh no, just MIT just figured that out. It trickles out. All this experimentation done by DARPA and then these agencies, they're trickling it out to medical, consumer, and military technology. And so the military-industrial complex is now all these things, these corporations, these universities, these hospitals, and then these contractors, and then arms of the DOD, all working together in a compartmentalized way, experimenting and murdering citizens to, make better consumer products, to try and make a neuro society, and then the military to try and have weapons and mind control above other countries. But all these countries are developing them at the same time. It's using competition to create a global system. It's very, it's big spider web, big complicated spider web. Hey, Barefoot. So David Irwin says MSM sells only lies and half-truths these days. Raytheon is a sponsor. Yeah. You will never hear the full truth from them. Yeah. Mo Smith says, well, amen about you going to UN, although I know an insider, so you must be careful. Many in UN involved, even UNICEF, sadly. Pray Artist of the Alien would not be surprised if he is a Mason. Yeah, and then Artist of Alien says, Mo Smith, of course I will remain skeptical until I see the results. So Artist of Alien, you're doing something with the UN, that'd be great. Like, I think, I'm not sure about the UN, because somebody, I think Brian too was saying that this is pretty much UN directed. Like, it's a UN directive. But I don't know. I mean, it's like, it feels like we need people in the UN speaking out about it, because every country is working on these weapons, and we really need to get it shut down in every country. Like everybody, the UN needs to step in. Any kind of good agencies that are left or agency workers need to step in. So Artist Alien says, yeah, he's pretty scared. I contacted the UN Human Rights Division about him. Okay, yeah, we've got to go down those avenues. I don't know who we can trust. I mean, it's like Dr. Hoffer, he believes that this is happening, but I don't think he's going to say too much or help. He's going to help a little bit, but he doesn't want to get in trouble. He doesn't want to overstep his bounds, but that's crazy because innocent citizens are being murdered. Hey, Barefoot Sungazer. Barefoot Sungazer says, hey, Wayne and Cheryl. Hey, Kyle. To be honest with you all, I feel almost too sick to type tonight. Yeah. For the last few days, every time they do an EMF broadcast onto either of my cats, I throw up violently. Yeah, I was questioning about doing this live stream, guys. I've been feeling really depressed. The ZVS driver is working. My attackers kind of adapt a little bit and then they hit a plateau. So I'm feeling real exhausted, like adrenal exhaustion. and stuff like that. And I think our attackers with remote neural manipulation affect our brain to where it's affecting our thyroid, our pineal gland, and our endocrine system. So I'm dealing with that, like pretty much major depression. You know, I've never really I've dealt with a little bit of depression in my life on a very small scale, but with this remote neural manipulation and things that they're messing with, and then also just the extreme torture in mind control and V2K psychic driving, it's like sometimes I just feel like everything's wrong. I'm appreciative for good people in my life, you know, Stacy, my family, and stuff like that. But it just gets to a point where it's almost it's an organic thing from the remote neural manipulation. My thyroid's probably messed up, endocrine system, my adrenaline, and everything like that. By the way, Stacy says hi. She's working tonight. She might be able to get on. She has to work really late tonight. She's working through this, and you guys can check out her channel, S Robles. She got her ZVS driver working, and it's working pretty well. It's helping, but it's, you know, none of these defenses are 100%. I wish I could just say, man, this just knocked it out completely. But I'll tell you what, when I went to Thanksgiving and I took all my defenses off and got away from my defenses, it was 80% worse. It was a lot worse. It was way, way worse. And when I got home, turned on all my defenses, I started to feel better. Still dealing with the V2K, some back pain and stuff like that, but it was really bad when I got away from my defenses. So guys, like always, I could sit here and read y'all's chats all night, but I did want to go through this NSA documentation that a dev sent out. I don't think it's the dev in chat. I don't know if the dev that sent it out. She sends out a lot of emails. Is it you, Deb, that sends? I'm not sure. There's a lot of devs in the targeted individual community, but I don't know if that dev wants me to give out her last name who sent this email out. But she sends a lot of really, really good emails out, very informative emails out. Like almost every day is sending something, and I can't keep up with all the important information she's putting out. But I did want to go through this. Some of you guys that may have already seen it, but to me it was like I think I'd seen it before, but it kind of went to the back of my mind. And it's very weird because we know that the NSA is involved in this, right? And I've always kind of thought, well, the NSA is involved with the surveillance part, but then you've got contractors under the Department of Defense that are doing the torture part. But this information, it kind of sways my mind over to there are contractors under the NSA actually doing the torture, actually doing neuroweapon experimentation and torture, the actual NSA. And it's weird because the only people, and I've told you guys this before, and this is completely true, the only people that my attackers have claimed that they are, when I ask them like, hey, are you FBI? Nope, no, we're not FBI. Are y'all CIA? Ha ha ha, they laugh. Are you this, are you that? They, deny it. But on this one time I was in another condo, I said, you guys are NSA, aren't you? And they said, yep, we're NSA. We're NSA. So this information I'm about to show y'all, it kind of clinches it, and I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that my attackers are actually contracted on the NSA. Now you have NSA / Department of Defense. There's a lot of compartmentalized work where they're doing things together, but you do have contractors on the NSA, and you have contractors under different arms of the Department of Defense using this technology to figure out specific things, to develop the weapons in certain ways. And I kind of do think now, I'm like, yeah, I think my attackers are contractors contracted out by NSA to actually torture American citizens. So I wanted to show you guys this document. Let me pull it up. And then I'll pull up chat on my tablet so I can read y'all's comments. Let's see. And I'm going to put this. Okay, so this is John St. Clair Acquis. I don't know if I'm saying that right, guys. John St. Clair Acquis versus NSA, Fort Meade, Maryland, USA. And this is a PDF. Then there's another website that has this information on it. Has a lot of valuable footnotes too, where John St. Clair Quig got the information. But let me pull up my page on my tablet. And anybody joined in chat, I really hope you had a good Thanksgiving. At least some good moments. I know that this can be very painful. It can be lonely for a lot of people. I'm pretty lucky, even though like a lot of my family does think that I'm just being selfish and mentally ill. I'm lucky to have them. I'm lucky that they're not, that they're not targeting me. I just think that's the deal. If you have a family member that really loves you, but they think you're mentally ill, when you're being targeted by these weapons, they can sometimes do things that just really feel like gang stalking and gaslighting. And I think that causes confusion amongst a lot of targeted individuals. Because I've been so close to my family my whole life, and I just know that they wouldn't do this to me. If they did know that this was happening, the ones that don't, they would go, oh, okay, well, let's step into action. We're going to give Kyle some money. My brother probably helped me out a lot more. But I know that some targeted individuals, there's their family members do gang stalking and hurt them. But then I think sometimes their family members really do think that they're mentally ill. They try and give them help for mental illness, and it comes across as gang stalking or gaslighting. So I think that gets very confusing. And I always want targeted individuals to be very careful about that, because your families are important. Like, having a relationship, even if they don't believe you, is important to not completely psychologically falling apart, which that's what this program is trying to make us do, completely physically and psychologically fall apart. Let me find my channel. And this is really important documentation, guys. Okay, so I can see y'all's comments. Artist of El Elian says, I spent Thanksgiving with my commander, Jesus. And that's a good Thanksgiving. I think I would have had a lot less emotional turmoil if I would have done that. I spent Thanksgiving with Jesus and my family. It wasn't too bad. It was a lot of happy moments and then some frustrating moments. Like, I can't believe it. Like, when my brother was like, I couldn't help myself. Like, my brother goes, yeah, and then 9/11 happened. It really brought America together. I literally like stood up. We were sitting outside, me, him, and my dad. I stood up and I like walked a couple of feet away and I go, "You people are mentally ill." Like, and I didn't scream at him like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight you." It was just very exclamatory, because that's so insane that somebody could believe that 9/11 brought America together. It's been the whole false flag that they're using to murder people and split families up. I mean, how brainwashed could you be to think that 9/11 brought people together? I mean, people still believe that. They still believe Osama bin Laden did it, and some terrorists, Arabian terrorists, box cutters did it, took those buildings down, and they still believe, like, we as a country, they still believe that mainstream thing. Less and less, right? Less and less. I think you'd have to want to be in the dark to actually believe that mainstream lie, Oh, I'm sorry, Watchman 245. Yeah, Sungazer, same here. Miss my pa. He went to be with the Lord 3 years ago too. Yeah, and you remind me that even though my dad, doesn't believe me on this, he's a good man. He loves me. He's a very wise man on things that he understands in the world, and I've got to be thankful that he's still around and get as many precious moments with him, with my mom, with my brother. Even after me and my brother were talking, when I left, I was like, man, we need to go out and have dinner some night soon. We hugged, and we love each other. It's whatever, that's the strength, right? Stacy, me and Stacy always say that love always wins, and I really think it does. No matter how bad this gets, we can choose to not let it darken our heart, to not let it destroy our heart, you know. And that's Stacy right there too. She's saying hey to everybody. Let's see. Okay, so let me go through and hey Jen, how you doing? How was your Thanksgiving? Let's see. And Lion and Lamb. Hey Lion and Lamb. Hey Alan. Okay, let's go through this document. This has a lot of important stuff, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and put the PDF and the web page, you know, in the description whenever my live stream like loads to YouTube. But let's go through this. Let me go to the website first. So this is the PDF document that Deb, I guess she doesn't care. She sends out a lot of Deb K. It's Deb K that sends out a ton of good information. I'm going to go through some of her other information and find things that I can do videos about because she's just putting out really important information every day. So this is, I'll put this website in there too. Covert Operations of the United States National Security Agents, a National Security Agency by John St. Clair Ackley, from an article in Nexus Magazine, April to May '96, from Mind Control Forum's website. So, and this is just a description of what this is. Then I'm gonna go back to the other one because I like that PDF. I like how it's set up. They basically have pretty much the same information. And some of you guys might have already seen this, but it's just very important information. I have a lot of really just concrete stuff I need to just do videos about. I need to do like a non-live stream and then do some on the live stream. I just need to be, but I've been, I don't know, I've just been super tired lately. Okay, so a lawsuit filed against the U.S. National Security Agency reveals a frightening array of technologies and programs designed to keep tabs on individuals. John St. Clair Ackley versus National Security Agency, Fort George, G. Meade, Maryland, USA, Civil Action 92-0449. The following document comprises evidence for a lawsuit filed at the U.S. Courthouse in Washington, D.C. by John St. Clair Ackley against the National Security Agency, Fort George, G. Meade, Maryland, Civil Action 92-0449, constitutes his knowledge. So this is this is John St. Clair Ackley's knowledge of the National Security Agency's surveillance network and torture network. Constitutes his knowledge of the NSA structure, national security activities, proprietary technologies, and covert operations to monitor individual citizens. And you got to remember, we've kind of got this thing going on in the military industrial complex where it's like NSA/DOD. And then you've got contractors that work under them to actually, they contract out some of the surveillance, they contract out a lot of the experimentation and things like that. They contract out a lot of the torture and things like that. But then all these contractors are connected to NSA/DOD. So this is the website. I'm going to put both of them in the description, but I like to, this one has pictures on it. I like the other one. The other one's kind of concise, and I kind of wanted to read it from the PDF. Okay. So the NSA's mission and NSA's domestic intelligence operation, communications intelligence, comment, blanket coverage of all electronic communications in the U.S. and the world to ensure national security. The NSA at Fort Meade, Maryland, has had the most advanced computers in the world since the early 1960s. NSA technology is developed and implemented in secret from private corporations, academia, and the general public. Let me return this text, y'all, real quick. Let me take a sip of my drink. I gotta plug in my phone. So Cheryl says, Kyle, there's attorney working with all TIs. His name is Ray Schumann, civil rights attorney, offering services to victims of covert harassment. Okay, Cheryl, can you email me information about that? Ray Schumann, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Cheryl, I definitely need that information because I definitely want to call him. Yeah, is he working? Is he doing that for like targeted justice or targeted America, or he's saying, hey, I'll help any targeted individuals out there? Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. I'm gonna call my friend Ken in Canada. He's using the ZVS driver. It's helping him a lot. He's actually very good with electronics too. So he found some way to actually amplify the Tesla coil, like the field that it's putting out. So I really need to talk to him. I'm actually, been watching. I'll call you. Okay. I have like two. I bought a backup ZVS driver, and I'm kind of thinking of because I leave this one on all the time. It doesn't seem like anything's going wrong, but some other people, because they left it on all the time, it did have some problems. And I was thinking I'd get another power supply, and then I'd run a ZVS driver on the top of my desk, and then one on the bottom of my desk to create like this double field, but then also turn one of them off, like switch them off. And I was thinking that when I get my power supply, my second power supply, then I can just I'll just do like a live stream hangout where I put it together, where I put everything together. We just sit there and hang out. It may be a little bit boring because I don't like when I'm putting it together. I kind of have to concentrate. I don't know. I guess I could talk about stuff or read chat or whatever. But I was thinking when I get my other power supply, and I think I'm going to use Megan. I don't know if she's in chat, but she gave me like a $60 Amazon thing, and I was thinking I was going to use it on that, use it on a power supply, and then put that together on a live stream, so then everybody can know exactly how to do it. And I'd be using 12 gauge cables and then a power supply plug. And we could just go through. I know I have some other videos on that, and then what I might do is I might take all those videos and just put them in a playlist so people can go through and really figure it out. But it's not too difficult. I think it's very, very worth it. It's about $130 for everything. I know that we don't have money as targeted individuals, but if you can build up to it, or you have a YouTube page as a targeted individual, maybe you could get a GoFundMe or something like that to build up to like $130 so that you can do it. I don't know. We got to figure out some ways that we can, get some of this useful stuff. I had to work very hard to get my my Social Security disability, and that's kind of how I do everything. But it's not covering stuff. I'm not able to do a whole lot of extra activism and exactly what I want to do. Okay, yeah, Cheryl says, okay, I will send you info. Yes, I believe Targeted Justice he's working for. Okay, I'll send you the info. Because I'm with Targeted Justice, or like I support them. I support Midge. I haven't been like in contact with her a lot lately, but that would be, if they found a lawyer who's going to take this on, that's awesome. That is great. Yeah, okay, generation. That's a great comment. Generation says, attention, do not enter anything metallic inside the ZVS coil. This will cause fire meltdown of the metal. Yeah, you don't want to put anything metal into the coils. But I think that's pretty easy, not to do. Okay, let me take a sip of my energy drink. I'm about to start working out, like running and just like figuring out anything where I can gain inches, because I'm doing pretty, like, without using the defenses on Thanksgiving Day, God, I mean, like, I'm thankful to have these defenses, but then it's like you get used to the defenses. You're still being kind of tortured. Like, it doesn't hide me from my attackers. Like, the ZVS driver doesn't hide me from the attackers, but it does buffer out some of the mind control stuff, and it does buffer out some of the external hits. It gets it way down. Like, it neutralizes it a lot. But the V2K, almost like sometimes it can neutralize it out, and sometimes the V2K is still, they raise it up to the same level. So it just does help. It does help, but it didn't hide me from my attackers. You know, like the German TI said, it'll hide you from what they're doing from their weapon systems, but I haven't experienced that. After this live stream, I'll talk to Ken. I'll talk to Ken and see what kind of modifications he's been doing. Vicky Kavanaugh says, Kyle, they did extend NSA surveillance, but only till March 2020. Oh, that'd be great if it all stops in March 2020, because without the NSA surveillance, without that blanket surveillance, our attackers could not get us everywhere we go. It's like they use all these different compartmentalized things that each agency does to make all this work. DHS fusion centers do a piece of the pie. NSA surveillance as a piece of the pie. The our actual attackers who are probably working for a contractor either under the NSA or the CIA or the DoD, depending on what program you're in, they use that over the radar, ground radar surveillance too, where you're going. They use all these things. So if NSA surveillance is knocked out, that would knock out them being able to track us like everywhere we go. It may give us a chance to get away from some of this stuff. I'm not sure. Okay, Cheryl says he's got a commercial on saying offering services to victims of covert harassment, the legal co-op, and advocacy for humankind. That is awesome. Please send me that information, Cheryl. I want to do a video about it. I'll maybe talk to him first and see if that's okay, and maybe talk to Midge first and see if that's okay. Future Knowledge says, I'm trying to come up with ways to attack their software and sensors. Good luck, Future Knowledge, man. Just try anything. We got to go through down any avenues, any and every avenue to stop this. Wayne Moore says, it's promising to hear of any lawyers or docs standing up. Yeah, I agree, Wayne. And thanks for coming, brother. I hope you're doing okay, man. David Irwin says, Kyle, did you move your furniture around after installing the ZVS driver? It only blinds them. It's not an interference field. It feels like it's interfering to me, David. It doesn't feel like it's blinding them, because they still hit me with stuff, but it's extremely reduced, because the Tesla coils are creating, a scalar field. And my Q-wave defenders create a scalar field. My Q-wave defenders help me with a lot of the external hits because I just got so many of them. I do believe that it does interfere, David. I do. We'll talk some more about that. Let me exactly how the ZVS driver works. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try switching everything around in my room or whatever and seeing if it does actually hide me. See if they're maybe using just places where I usually sit. It just doesn't seem, it seems like it's working on another level, not hiding me from my attackers, but like I'm waking up and my body's not cooked from remote neural manipulation, and I have the ZVS driver on. My attackers were still hitting me with some V2K. They were still hitting me with some V2K and a little bit of nervous system, attacks. So I'm not quite sure on that. We're going to have to get some more people who are actually using the ZVS driver. We're going to have to look into it, but I think it's, and I don't know if it hides us from. But we'll talk about that some more later. It just works. It does work. They're adapting a little bit to it, kind of like they adapt to Dave Case's CD, but then they kind of plateau, and it stays at this level where it's not as bad as it used to be. That's definite, 100% factual. let's kind of focus on this tonight, and like maybe when I'm putting the CVS driver together, we can just talk about that. We can talk about all of our theories and science, the science behind it, and what we think is going on. And the more people who try it, the more that we can kind of know about that, exactly how it's working, you know. Okay, so the next one, signals intelligence, SIGINT. The signals intelligence mission of the NSA has evolved into a program of decoding EMF waves in the environment for wirelessly tapping into computers and tracking persons with the electrical currents in their bodies. Signals intelligence is based on the fact that everything in the environment with an electric current and it has a magnetic flux around it, which gives off EMF waves. The NSA/DoD has developed proprietary advanced digital equipment which can remotely analyze all objects, whether man-made or organic, that have electrical activity. Domestic intelligence. The NSA has records on all U.S. citizens. The NSA gathers information on U.S. citizens who might be of interest to any of the over 50,000 NSA agents. Human. These agents are authorized by executive order to spy on anyone. The NSA has a permanent national security anti-terrorist surveillance network in place. This surveillance network is completely disguised and hidden from the public. Yeah, that's true. I mean, not completely now. I mean, awareness is getting out. Cuban embassy attack, China consulate, all these other countries doing it. You know, people are starting to become aware of targeted individuals. So it's not completely hidden, but pretty much hidden. You know, by propaganda and what do you call it? Peer pressure, propaganda, peer pressure. Out of sight, out of mind. It's not really happening to me, or even some targets, like my dad is a targeted individual, but he's old, right? He's getting old, and he's like, oh, well, it's just old age. And my aneurysm happened, and now it's old age, so they just deny that it's happening. So it's a very, very sophisticated propaganda, and actually using how human beings behave, how they're built, to hide these new technologies. And to use propaganda to make people believe that the people it's happening to directly being fired upon by directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, that it's just this new mental illness that happened to crop up when the technology boom and the internet's there. You know, people just started to have the same mental, and we just spread it around. You know, we just all, oh yeah, I'm being hit by microwaves because that person said it. It's just this magical mental illness, the most magical mental illness that has ever existed since the dawn of man, where people are like, who were never mentally ill and never looked up directed energy weapons, are hit with something, they look up stuff and they're like, yeah, I'm burning, it's microwaves, and they figure out what's going on. What a magical mental illness. i.e., it's not a mental illness. This is actually happening, duh, right? Okay, so tracking individuals in the U.S. is easily and cost-effectively implemented with the NSA's electronic surveillance network. This network, DOMINT, covers the entire U.S., involves tens of thousands of NSA personnel, and tracks millions of persons simultaneously. Cost-effective implementation of operations is assured by NSA computer technology designed to minimize operation costs. NSA personnel serve in quasi-public positions in their communities and run cover businesses and legitimate businesses that can inform the intelligence community of persons they would want to track. NSA personnel in the community usually have cover identities such as social workers, lawyers, and business owners. Individual citizens occasionally targeted for surveillance by independently operating NSA personnel. NSA personnel can control the lives of hundreds of thousands of individuals in the U.S. by using the NSA's domestic intelligence network and cover businesses. The operations independently run by them can sometimes go beyond the bounds of law, which, I mean, completely. With me and with you guys in chat who are targeted individuals, completely beyond the bounds of law. It's false flag war, false flag torture, experimentation, the most evil. There ain't nothing to do with the law about this. DHS fusion centers are lawless terrorist organizations The NSA is a lawless terrorist organization, and they don't catch real terrorists. They maybe catch like 1% real terrorists, but the rest of the network is about dominating, full spectrum dominance, experimentation, mind control, advancing the weapons on innocent citizens who haven't done anything, who have been profiled and picked for whatever reason, you know. Where was I, guys? Okay, long-term control and sabotage of long-term control and sabotage of tens of thousands of unwitting citizens by NSA operatives is likely to happen. It is happening. NSA dominant has the ability to covertly assassinate U.S. citizens or run covert psychological control operations to cause subjects to be diagnosed with ill mental health, or to make targeted individuals commit suicide, or to create heart attacks in targeted individuals, or to make targeted individuals go out and do something violent, like you know that shooting in California, Saugus or whatever. I would guarantee, I just guarantee that 16-year-old boy had V2K. His body was being just torn up by microwaves, and he didn't see an out. Maybe he went to tell his parents, and they didn't understand what to do. I would just guarantee it. I'm going to look for some articles on that to see if it, because I don't. Ooh, I think that he was. I'm not. I think that he like had some kind of head wound, so I don't know if he's going to be waking up and telling us what he was going through before that. That's super sad though, but I would guarantee you that he was a targeted individual. 16-year-old kid. There's a lot of teenagers and kids that they're doing this to. It's like, yeah, conversation with my brother just keeps running through my head. It's like, how does somebody think they're a good person and they're going to help people when they won't even look into this, something that's torturing our parents, torturing little kids and stuff like that. And it's like if somebody does start looking into it, then they're in danger of it happening to them. So it's like we all have to run up at once. Like everybody in the world who doesn't want this going on has to get aware, and we got to deluge the awareness and everything at once, because if we keep running up in these little groups, then they can just boom, 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 target us, destroy our lives, make us tired, use neural weapons on our brain. We're working on it though. Working on more solutions, working on getting through this, working on, more people speaking out, especially non-targeted individuals helping us. But really everybody in the world's targeted pretty much. Not directly like us, but with all the electronics that we have around us, everybody's like could get cancer easier, and stuff like that, toxins in the sky. So NSA's domestic let me read it. So Ella Advocate, Mel-OZ, Vulcan Wolverine, can we have a copy of this document somehow, please? Yeah, Ella, I am going to, I do the live stream, and it takes a couple of minutes for it to be put up on YouTube. Then when it's put up on YouTube, I'm going to go and edit the description box, and I'll put both of these, the PDF and the website, into the description box for you. So just wait till this is posted on YouTube, because right now you can see the live stream, but then it takes a while for it to be posted as a video. I don't know. You know how it goes. Like if you do a live stream, it takes a little while to get posted. But I'll definitely put it in there, Ella, definitely. I'm going to be going through some other important documentation too. We just need to collect all this stuff. It's so concrete. It's so concrete. Nobody can deny this stuff. Nobody can make this up. Nobody can write a document like this with footnote stuff. He worked at the NSA. I think this guy worked at the NSA. Nobody can make this up. Nobody can make up this organized structure of dominant, human, SIGINT, and all this. These are actual things. I mean, John Hall talks about them. Nobody can make this stuff up. Yeah, Future Knowledge says, and torture you when you try to go protest. Yeah, my attackers, I guess I talk about it a little bit, but I kind of try and like, I've lately, after so many years of this, I get hesitant to talk about some things because, you know, that saying, energy goes where your focus flows. And so I've talked about this for so long, and it's like there's this adaptive subconscious thing that I don't understand where I'm like, ooh, I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's just going to keep flowing there. You know, and I want to neutralize more and ignore more. But my attackers, because I make videos and do activism, is since the beginning. I mean, since the beginning of my targeting, I guess I don't know what was in my profile to do this, but they had tried to shred my jaw, like my jaw and my eye socket. This area to try and shut me up. I mean, they've tried to just destroy it. It's better now, but for a while, it's like sometimes I couldn't even talk. So I don't like saying that stuff because your best bet is speaking out. It's going to make you safer in the long run. It's going to give you a more hopeful life. Being proactive, it's going to give you a lot more hope when you are doing stuff to make your life better. But yeah, I mean, my attackers, yeah, they've been a lot harder on me, but that's, you know, that's why I use the defenses. Now, I was going to say, guys, it's a little bit different for me to use these defenses. My attackers have a, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm the worst targeted individual, but I do push with the activism. I do push with the videos and things like that. So my attackers, like I'm doing pretty good with these defenses for how hard they go after me. So some of you guys who maybe don't do videos and stuff like that, you got a certain level of torture. I know it's probably bad, but you use some of these defenses, there may be a different response from your attackers if you're not doing activism. I just wanted to throw that out. I'm not sure about it, but it's like, I think that if I didn't do any activism or these videos, which, you know, I'm going to keep doing them, right? I'm going to keep doing activism. This is the right thing to do. I'm being targeted. I want this over, even though I'm attenuating some of it, but they go hard. You know, they go hard. So my defenses that are really good sometimes don't cover it all because they're, you know, they're going really hard. They're trying to really stop my brain from working. It's like the two biggest things I think have been, well, it all sucks, right? The V2K sucks, but two things on my mind right now are just to shred my jaw with external hits and remote neural manipulation of the trigeminal nerve and vagus nerve, but then also trying to make my thoughts really unorganized, really hit me with neuro weapons to make me my thoughts unorganized, to make me really depressed and stuff like that. It's like, I guess they do that to all of us, but it's very, very severe. You know, it gets very, very severe. I'm glad I got in the CVS. It's hot right now. Don't touch your Tesla coils. I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to be funny. Okay, so NSA's Domestic Electronic Surveillance Network. As of the early 1960s, the most advanced computers in the world were at the NSA Fort Meade. Research breakthroughs with these computers were kept for the NSA. At the present time, the NSA has nanotechnology computers that are 15 years ahead of present computer technology. The NSA obtains blanket coverage of information in the US by using advanced computers that use artificial intelligence to screen all communications, irregardless of medium, for keywords that should be brought to the attention of NSA agents, cryptologists. These computers monitor all communications at the transmitting and receiving ends. This blanket coverage of the US is a result of the NSA's signals intelligence mission. The NSA's electronic surveillance network is based on a cellular arrangement of devices that can monitor the entire EMF spectrum. This equipment was developed, implemented, and kept secret in the same manner as other electronic warfare programs. With this technology, NSA personnel can non-obtrusively tap into any communication device in existence. This includes computers, telephones, radio, and video-based devices, printers, car electronics, and even the minute electrical fields in humans for tracking individuals. They can use our unique biofrequency to track us without any kind of implants. I think that they put non-consensual implants, and they use nanotechnology, and they use biofilm and all those things to intensify the torture But even if you had none of that stuff, you know, on your skin, past your blood-brain barrier, you didn't have any non-consensual implants, they can still tap in to your unique biofrequency, your unique brainwave signature. And they don't, sometimes it's like they don't even have to have a software that they're hacking into on your computer. They can use radio frequency to read like the board, to read the what's it called, the circuit board or whatever, and get digital information using radio frequency straight to the computer to get digital information, like without even using a software like a virus software to wirelessly go into your computer. They can use radio frequency like to the motherboard of your computer to get digital information. I mean, okay, so signals intelligence remote computer. Okay, this is where that is. I'm like saying it before I'm reading it. I should just read it. Signals intelligence remote computer tampering. The NSA keeps track of all PCs and other computers sold in the U.S. This is an integral part of the domestic intelligence network. The NSA's EMF equipment can tune into RF emissions from personal computer circuit boards while filtering out emissions from monitors and power supplies. The RF emission from PC circuit boards contains digital information in the PC. Coded RF waves from the NSA's equipment can resonate PC circuits and change data in the PCs. So they could change data with a radio frequency signal and actually put digital information on your circuit board in your computer to put like pictures in there or something. Like, I mean, that's horrifying. I hope they haven't done that to me. Like put something on my computer I don't know about. Okay, where was I, guys? Where was I? My head hurts. Digital information. Okay, coded RF waves from the NSA's equipment can resonate PC circuits and change data in the PCs. Thus, the NSA can gain wireless modem-style entry into any computer in the country for surveillance or anti-terrorist electronic warfare. Anti-innocent citizen electronic warfare. Because I ain't no terrorist. And all you guys in the chat, my tigers are hitting me in the throat. All you guys in the chat are not terrorists. So this is war on innocent citizens. War on innocent citizens. They are the terrorists. Like, this is factual. This is not me being angry. The NSA are effing terrorists. DHS are freaking domestic terrorists. They're terrorists who are going to war with innocent families in every country, whatever you're, you know, you got DHS, they're terrorists. The people who claim to be fighting terrorism, they are the terrorists. Like, it's fact. It's fact. Like, they can get the public to believe, oh, they have our best interests at heart, and the ones that you know, join the terrorist organizations to go after innocent citizens, they can tell themselves they're protecting people all they want, but the fact in reality, they are the terrorists. And that is fact. It's fact. And they can do whatever they want to because they're already murdering me and torturing my family. I could give a D about, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not, but they're terrorists. The DOD, they're terrorists. And all they care about is money. All they care about is consumer products to get more control over the public. All they care about is advancing the weapons so they can get more full spectrum dominance over innocent citizens and control their brains and turn this into a nerve society. They're bigger. The biggest terrorist in the world is this pyramidal system trying to gain global control. And it's so beyond dangerous because as it progresses, and they're going to move as slowly as they can, if it progresses, we'll have a neuro society where they can switch somebody's thoughts just like that. Take a good creative thought that somebody has to save lives, boop, take that out of somebody's head, control the world and control people's brains like a little game, you know, and it'll become like that more and more. So this is like, they're terrorists. They're terrorists. They're the worst terrorists the world has ever seen. And they can admit that or not admit that and say they're heroes and sacrificing me and my family. And heroes sacrifice themselves. I've never seen such horse crap where these people microwaving me, the human operators, they're like, we got to sacrifice and blah, blah, blah. You're so brave, right? You're so brave. You're sacrificing innocent American families that you didn't know. You're a brave soldier. You're a brave soldier, right? And these people, they'll sacrifice everybody else besides themselves. That's not a hero. That's not a man. That's not a soldier. Well, there's women also involved in this microwaving too. Okay, so where was I? Man, okay, signals intelligence. I'm just gonna. I think I maybe already read this, guys, but brain's not doing good tonight. Signals intelligence, remote computer tampering. Okay, we already read that. Okay. Okay. Radio and television signals can be substituted at the receiving end. So radio and television signals can be substituted at the receiving end. That's why they can put certain songs on the radio. They can put certain things on your television. I've had stuff on my radio done, but I don't think I've had the television thing. I've had a lot of harassment, like on YouTube with advertisements and things like that, and on my computer. But this is an explanation when you hear targeted individuals who are like, somebody was saying something on my TV like directly to me, or like a song came on and it was these exact lyrics. Like I've had that a lot of different times. This is the explanation, the technological explanation for that. So let me read it again. Oh man, I'm so lost tonight. Radio and television signals can be substituted at the receiving end with special EMF equipment. Replacing signals in radios and televisions is another outgrowth of the NSA's signals intelligence mission. And so Alan Nielsen Brewer says, hi, fellow TIs. Has there been any other court wins besides Richard Kane and James Walper? And people in chat, like, I don't know, y'all talk about that. Those are the two that I've heard about, Alan. Those are the two that I've heard about. But I don't know if they really won. I think they got settlements and they continue to be targeted. You know, I've heard a lot of myths about things, but never any concrete proof that somebody like won a court case, stopped being targeted. You know, they usually have a gag order, they get a settlement, and they don't even stop being targeted. So, I mean, that's what I think is happening. Yeah, Rick M, definitely. Hey, Rick, and hey, Erica. Rick says, also check out Roy Potter's site. Kyle recommended last week. He's ex-military, knows that our security agencies are our worst enemy. Yeah, check out Roy Potter's channel. What's the page called? I'm subscribed to him. It's like Roy Potter PA, Roy Potter PA, I think. Yeah, check him out. Was he a lieutenant colonel? He's lieutenant colonel in the Army, and I'm not sure like why he left, but he sure does. I think he's targeted. Like I'm pretty sure that he is targeted by neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. But he mainly talks about what people can digest. So he's got a bigger channel. He's talking about the things that are going on in the mainstream news. The mainstream news is reporting, and then he's trying to kind of tell people how tyrannical things are. But he's not like every video going, oh, I'm being hit with microwave weapons, because we know how people respond to that, right? Yeah, but he's doing a great. He's a very good man. Yeah, Wayne Moore says they are absolutely terrorists. Factual. It's not an insult to these they're murderers too. It's not. It's just a fact. They're terrorists. They're murdering innocent people for some type of gain, for their cult, for their money. To say, oh, we have to do this. We have to justify this. Just like Arabic terrorists say, we've got to do this for our beliefs. It's the same deal. It's the same thing. Like killing innocent people for some type of cult reason, you're a terrorist. It's not in self-defense, then you're a murdering terrorist. Yeah, Deadpool of Grace says, Lion silicone baking sheets from Karen Stewart. Yeah, she has a lot of good ideas. Silicone absorbs heat, remember. So if you can get some silicone stuff, place it around your head and things like that, it can absorb heat from the remote microwave. Okay, Cheryl said, okay. Okay, I'll email her, Cheryl. Okay, good. Yeah, Rick, he's talking about Roy Potter. He says, yes, he's got great inside intel. He says Trump in worse position than most think. That Navy is anti-Trump. He thinks Trump may be through. Oh no, I yeah, I don't want to get into all that tonight. I think Trump's done some good things, but I think he is a Zionist. I think he's going to keep fighting wars in Israel. I don't think he's going to, he's allowing 5G to go up, and he's not, getting scientists to actually say, look at all the cancer that's happening from this. Look at how it's damaging people and killing them. So I think that he goes along with a lot of things that are killing people. I doubt he probably knows about this program, and I don't think he's going to say anything about it. I don't know. I'll talk about that some other time. I haven't been really following what's going on with Trump lately. I think I do. I think I'd rather get Trump again as president than to have a Democrat as president, because then I think things would get really, really bad. These communist like genocide programs would get real, real bad. Like having a Republican in the office, it means you're going to have a lot of people who want smaller government having a stronger voice, and we need smaller federal government. But not only that, our federal government has gotten too big, but now there's a global system. Now there's a global system. So you think about a local sheriff's department that's being mandated, pretty much global mandates. Can they fight back? Can they do what they want to do in their own city? No. You do this, and your sheriff's department gets money, or city police. You do this, you go along with DHS fusion centers, and you get this money. If you don't, we'll shut you down. So it becomes like a federalized. The federal government gets so big, and now it's gone to where there's a global system of control, where if these local, city, and state, governments, law enforcement, if they don't play ball, they're gone. If they do play ball, they get a lot of money, but they do a lot of evil stuff if they agree to do the federalized global mandate. They globalize federal, because it's like it's huge and it's federal, but it's on its way to completely a globalized structure. Okay, so radio television signals can be substituted at the receiving end with special EMF equipment. Replacing signals in radios and televisions is another outgrowth of the NSA's signal intelligence mission. Detecting EMF fields in humans for surveillance. So I'm a target individual, you guys are a target individual. This is the way they do it, but I do think in addition to this, there are catalysts they use to intensify the torture, to be able to see us easier and stuff like that. So a subject's bioelectric field can be remotely detected. So subjects can be monitored anywhere they are. With special EMF equipment, NSA cryptologists can remotely read evoked potentials from EEGs. These can be decoded into a person's brain states and thoughts. Visuals, I've experienced visuals, and also inner voice thoughts, and also emotions, and anything that they can receive a signal on, they can put a signal back. So if they can read the visual in your head, they can send a vision in your head. They can read an emotion from your brain, an EEG from your brain, they can send a signal, an EEG, to your brain. If they can read your inner voice thoughts, then they can send a signal back. So it's like a two-way street, a bidirectional stream, right? So the subject is then perfectly monitored from a distance. NSA personnel can dial up any individual in the country on the Signals Intelligence EMF scanning network, and the NSA's computers will then pinpoint and track that person 24 hours a day. The NSA can pick out and track anyone in the US. And I think it's about to say this next, but it's like that's my whole thing where I'm saying this is like a virus. Where Cheryl made a comment like this is like a virus. It is like a virus. Because we're put on a list. We're persons of interest. We're being surveilled, and we're tethered to that directed energy that's attacking us and doing neuro weapons. Signal to and from the brain. We go talk to somebody, and if we spend too much time with them, then they are then considered a person of interest, somebody in cahoots with us. It's all a big, just a lie, and it does work like a virus, which is so scary. So NSA signals intelligence use of EMF brain stimulation. So this would be what I call remote neural manipulation, right? Neuro weapons do remote neural manipulation. This is called electromagnetic frequency brain stimulation. That's what, when I say remote neural manipulation, that's what I mean, guys. So NSA signals intelligence uses EMF brain stimulation for remote neural monitoring and electronic brain link. So brain to computer brain. So I've told you guys I have human operatives with AI doing a lot of this stuff to me. But a couple of the operatives, they have something. It's either something they put in their ear or it's headgear. I don't know which one, but they can sync their brain waves with mine. So if I'm having a dream or something, or if I'm just sitting here, which the visuals haven't been bad lately. I think that my defenses have like toned down on the visuals. But they could think of something, visualize something in their head. It would go through the computer. They would be matching up their brain waves. The computer would match up their brain waves to your brain waves, and then it could send a visual in your head. I think that is the way that they do directed dreaming. I think it's like an operative on the other end on this integrated weapons platform. You're dreaming, and they think of something and they put it in your dream, especially since your brain is asleep. Your brain's going to be weaker and it won't be as resistant to those visuals. And then you have a directed dream. You have and that's only one way. There's probably different ways they can do directed dreaming, right? But that's probably one way with the brain. It's called brain to brain, but I would rather say brain to computer to brain, because it does the brain waves have to be linked up through the computer. They have to be matched up, So EMF brain stimulation has been in development since the MK Ultra program of the early 1950s, which included neurological research into radiation, non-ionizing EMF, and bioelectric research and development. The resulting secret technology is categorized at the National Security Archives as radiation intelligence. Excuse me. As radiation intelligence, defined as information from unintentionally emanated electromagnetic waves in the environment, not including radioactivity or nuclear detonation. Signals intelligence implemented and kept this technology secret in the same manner as other electronic warfare programs of the US government. The NSA monitors available information about this technology and withholds scientific research from the public. There are also international intelligence agency agreements to keep this technology secret. There are also international intelligence agency agreements to keep this technology secret. The NSA has proprietary electronic equipment that analyzes electrical activity in humans from a distance. NSA computer-generated brain mapping can continuously monitor all the electrical activity in the brain continuously. The NSA records and decodes individual brain maps of hundreds of thousands of persons for national security purposes. EMF brain stimulation is also secretly used by the military for brain-to-computer link in military fighter aircraft, for example. For electronic surveillance purposes, electrical activity in the speech center of the brain can be translated into the subject's verbal thoughts. RNM can send encoded signals to the brain's auditory cortex, thus allowing audio communication direct to the brain, bypassing the ear. NSA operatives can use this to covertly debilitate subjects by stimulating auditory hallucinations characteristic of paranoid schizophrenia. Without any contact with the subject, remote neural monitoring can map out electrical activity from the visual cortex of the subject's brain and show images from the subject's brain on a video monitor. NSA operatives see what the surveillance subject's eyes are seeing. Visual memory can also be seen. RNM can send images direct to the visual cortex, bypassing the eyes and optic nerves. NSA operatives can use this to surreptitiously put images in a surveillance subject's brain while they are in REM sleep for brain programming purposes. But we as targeted individuals know, and I've experienced, that when I'm not asleep, even when I'm not asleep, my attackers can put visuals in my head. Now, I can resist it a little bit more when I'm asleep, and lately, this is what's happening lately. So it's going on so long with me that I get kind of confused. It's gotten really complicated. My attackers have started to get so sophisticated because they don't want me to figure out what they're doing. Either my defenses are stopping a lot of those visuals being pushed into my head, or my attackers are very, very much trying to place visuals in my head that I would think of. They're really trying to make sure that I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's something that I would think. So it's either one of those two things. Maybe a combination of both. But my attackers, things have gotten so sophisticated, and they've been doing it for so long, and it's become so layered that I really do have a hard time keeping track of it. That's why I say sweep the board. I don't want to, do this, keeping track of everything they're doing to my mind. I go insane. I've got to sweep the board, try and neutralize the stuff, and try and, just, use as much of what I know as me as possible. It's just after so long, it gets so complicated. Because it's what they do all the time, So capabilities of NSA operatives using RNN. There has been a signals intelligence network in the U.S. since the 1940s. The NSA Fort Meade has in place a vast two-way wireless RNN system, which is used to track subjects and non-invasively monitor audio-visual information in their brain. This is all done with no physical contact with the subject. RNN is the ultimate method of surveillance and domestic intelligence. Speech and 3D sound and subliminal audio can be sent to the auditory cortex of the subject's brain, bypassing the ears, and images can be sent into the visual cortex. RNN can alter a subject's perceptions, moods, and motor control. Speech cortex, auditory cortex link has become the ultimate communication system for the intelligence community. Speech cortex, auditory cortex has become the ultimate communication system for the intelligence community. RNN allows for a complete audio-visual brain-to-brain link or brain-to-computer link. Okay, let's get through this article, guys. I guess not an article. I guess it's court documents. Court documents. Okay, National Security Agency signals intel. Oh man. National Security Agency signals intelligence electronic brain link technology. NSA SIG's bioelectric field. The NSA signals intelligence has the proprietary ability to remotely and non-invasively, it's very invasive, it's rape. It doesn't matter if they're doing it with electromagnetic frequencies or a knife. Cutting into your brain with microwaves, it's invasive, it's rape. Just because it's a new technology, this is the most invasive rape ever. It's invasive. There's no definition that you can justify this as being non-invasive or no touch. It's touching people with weapons. It's touching people with weapon systems. It doesn't matter if you're stabbing somebody with a knife or shooting them with a remote microwave, you're hurting them with a weapon. And this bull crap that, because it's like a new technology, it's no touch. No, it's touch. It's invasive. It's rape. It's an extension of that person. When a person holds a knife in their hand and stabs somebody, it's an extension of them. They murdered somebody. When they're on an integrated weapon system, shooting microwave at somebody, and it's an extension of their violence. They are being violent to that person. They are torturing them. They are murdering them. They are raping them. This bullcrap, non-invasive, no touch. I don't understand this. We really need to fight back against that terminology. This is the most invasive rape that I've ever experienced. I've never experienced another kind of rape. But this is the worst that I can imagine, you know. Remotely and non-invasively monitor information in the human brain by digitally decoding the evoked potentials in a 30 to 50 hertz, 0.5 milliwatt electromagnetic emissions from the brain. Neuronal activity in the brain creates a shifting electrical pattern that has a shifting magnetic flux. This magnetic flux puts out a constant 30 to 50 hertz. Oh, I already read that. No, 30 to 50 hertz, 0.5 milliwatt electromagnetic wave. Contained in the electromagnetic emission from the brain are spikes and patterns called evoked potentials. Every thought, reaction, motor command, auditory event, and visual image in the brain has a corresponding evoked potential or set of evoked potentials. The EMF emission from the brain can be decoded into the current thoughts, images, and sounds in the subject's brain. NSA SIGINT uses EMF transmitted brain stimulation as a communication system to transmit information as well as nervous system messages to intelligence agents and also to transmit to the brains of covert operations subjects on a non-perceptible level. EMF brain stimulation works by sending a complexly coded impulse electromagnetic signal to trigger evoked potentials events in the brain, thereby forming sound and visual images in the brain's neural circuits. EMF brain stimulation can also change a person's brain states and affect motor control. Two-way electronic brain link is done by remotely monitoring neural audio-visual information while transmitting sound to the auditory cortex, bypassing the ears, and transmitting faint images to the visual cortex. Bypassing the optic nerves and eyes, the images appear as floating 2D screens in the brain. It's like in your visual space. It's like your visual space is your visual cortex creates your visual space. When you remember movies, you remember events in your life and memories, that's your visual space, and they can put something in there, a signal to your visual cortex that you see as like a 2D movie in your head in your visual space. And I think as targeted individuals, a lot of us, know that we've experienced this a whole lot. So two-way electronic brain link has become the ultimate communication system for CIA/NSA personnel. Remote neural monitoring, RNM, remotely monitoring bioelectric information in the human brain, has become the ultimate surveillance system. It is used by a limited number of agents in the U.S. intelligence community. RNM requires decoding the resonance frequency of each specific brain area. That frequency is then modulated in order to encode information in that specific brain area. The frequency to which the various brain areas respond varies from 3 Hz to 50 Hz. Only NSA signals intelligence modulates signals in this frequency band, an example of EMF brain stimulation. So for the motor control cortex, it'd be 10 Hz. That's motor impulse and coordination. For the auditory cortex, 15 Hz. Sound which bypasses the ears. I guess that'd be one method of voice to skull, probably. Visual cortex, 25 Hz. Images in the brain bypassing the eyes. Somatosensory cortex, 9 Hz. Phantom touch sense. Thought center, 20 Hz. And imposed subconscious thoughts. This modulated information can be put into the brain at varying intensities from subliminal to perceptible. Each person's brain has a unique set of bioelectric resonance entrainment frequencies, sending audio information to a person's brain at the frequency of another person's auditory cortex would result in that audio information not being perceived. The plaintiff learned of RNM by being in two-way RNM contact with the Kinnecombe group at the NSA, Fort Meade. They used RNM 3D sound direct to the brain to harass the plaintiff from 1090 to 591. As of 591, this was in 1991. As of 591, they have had two-way RNM communication with the plaintiff and have used RNM to attempt to incapacitate the plaintiff and hinder the plaintiff from going to authorities about their activities against the plaintiff in the last 12 years. The Kinnecombe group has about 100 persons working 24 hours a day at Fort Meade. They have also brain tap persons the plaintiff is in contact with to keep the plaintiff isolated. This is the first time ever that a private citizen has been harassed with R&M and has been able to bring a lawsuit against NSA personnel misusing this intelligence operations method. And I'm not sure if the NSA was involved in Richard Kane's court case or the James Walber. I'm not sure if they brought up. I'm not sure if they brought up the NSA in their court documents. I'm going to look at those court documents. So NSA techniques and resources. Remote monitoring, tracking of individuals in any location, inside any building, continuously anywhere in the country. A system for inexpensive implementation of these operations allows for thousands of persons in every community to be spied on constantly by the NSA. Remote R&M devices. NSA's R&M equipment remotely reads the evoked potentials of the human brain for tracking individuals and can send messages through the nervous system to affect their performance. And then B, information missing from original. C, R&M can electronically identify individuals and track them anywhere in the U.S. This equipment is on a network and is used for domestic intelligence operations, government security, and military-based security, and in case of bioelectric warfare. It's used for domestic terrorism against innocent Americans. It's not used for government. I mean, I guess it is maybe used for government security. Maybe 1% of this stuff is used for good, and then the rest of it is used for full spectrum dominance against citizens who haven't done anything. Spotters and walk-bys in metropolitan areas. Tens of thousands of persons in each area working as spotters and neighborhood business place spies, sometimes unwittingly, following and checking on subjects who have been identified for covert control by NSA personnel. And I mean, I think what he's talking about now is gang stalking by DHS fusion centers, InfraGard, and then the community watch programs that all work together with what I think the FBI is at the head of gang stalking, and works with DHS fusion centers. I think the FBI organizes it. I'm not sure about that though. Okay, so B, agents working out of offices can be in constant communication with spotters who are keeping track of the NSA's thousands of subjects in public. C, NSA agents in remote offices can instantly identify using R&M any individual spotted in public whom is in contact with surveillance subjects. So NSA agents in remote offices can instantly identify using remote neural manipulation in any individual spotted in public whom is in contact with the surveillance subject. So, I mean, they can remote neural monitor anybody you're talking to in an instant, even if they haven't been hooked up to this stuff. Scary stuff. Okay. So chemicals and drugs into residential buildings with hidden NSA installed and maintain plastic plumbing lines. And a lot of us have complained about this, and we sound crazy, but we have chemicals being pumped into our living spaces, and my water, like I was giving my dog my water, and she just had diarrhea and was throwing up all the time. And they artificially tap your line and put poison into your home. I mean, a lot of us have experienced this. So A, the NSA has kits for running lines into residential tap water and air ducts of subjects for the delivery of drugs such as sleeping gas or brainwashing aiding drugs. This is an outgrowth of CI pharma psychology. So brief overview of proprietary U.S. intelligence anti-terrorist equipment mentioned. Fixed network of special EMF equipment that can read EEGs in human brains and identify/track individuals by using digital computers. ESB, electrical stimulation to the brain via electromagnetic frequency signal from the NSA. Signals intelligence is used to control subjects. EMF equipment that gathers information from PC circuit boards by deciphering RF emissions, thereby gaining wireless modem style entry into any personal computer in the country. All equipment hidden, all technology secret, all scientific research unreported as an electronic warfare research. Not known to the public at all, yet complete and thorough implementation of this method of domestic intelligence has been in place since the early 1980s. And I'd say they were practicing on it, before. Like the kind of equipment, electromagnetic frequency, like neuroweapons they were going to use for this huge system. They've been practicing on this stuff since the 1950s, maybe before. And then probably in Nazi concentration camps, they were practicing with radio frequencies and electromagnetic frequencies. So, okay, guys, that's the court document, and I'm definitely going to go back whenever the live stream's put on to YouTube. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put these two links in the description so you guys can have those documents. Please spread them out, spread awareness of this, and then also there's a lot of great resources at the end of this that I think that we should look into. So I'm going to be kind of looking into those. So many resources where what was his name? Mr. Acquis like got information and figured out some of this stuff and got documentation to put this together. The NSA's involvement in this, and the contractors under the NSA that actually carry out some of this also. I think that some NSA agents, some direct NSA, some people working at the NSA are torturing American citizens. I don't think it's just carried out by contractors under the NSA or contractors under the DOD or contractors under the CIA. I think some NSA agents are literally psyoping and torturing citizens because there's just no transparency. So I think contractors carry some of this out, but I would not be surprised if some straight up NSA agents that working in the NSA were doing this. Now, I think that my attackers are working for a contractor either under the NSA or under the DOD. I'm kind of leaning toward NSA because of they've started focusing on the mind more. And it seems like the Department of Defense sometimes focuses on physical torture. They've done physical torture. I'm not sure about that. And sometimes my attackers, they'll say things that it's like, I'm like, I shouldn't believe them. They're liars. But sometimes they say stuff and I think they're like, well, we can tell him the truth and he won't even know, And I think with claiming to just be the NSA, they were like, well, he won't believe us anyway. But I kind of think they're a contractor under the NSA. Hey, Clara Hill says, hanging. Got my daughter back, which is good. Need to find someone to talk to her. Terrorized V2K holograms. Bad, my poor girl. Oh. Yeah, this is just insane. Cheryl Lewis says, how do you ask a doctor to scan you for implants? If anybody finds a doctor who will do that, you got Melinda Kidder and Dr. Staniger will scan for implants. And people and targeted individuals have gotten test results back from them. It's pretty expensive. It's like it's $10,000 to see both of them. I need to go through some of that information so some of us can start looking into that. I think a lot of targeted individuals have done that. I need to call them and see exactly how much it would cost. But how do you ask a normal doctor to check you for implants? You don't say anything about that. Maybe soon we'll get some doctors that actually help us. Yeah, Futurenaut says gang stalking simulation. You are correct. Gang stalking simulations, what are they shooting us in the head with? As to be some type of EMF, electromagnetic frequency. Yeah, gang stalking simulation. That's what it is. It's like electromagnetic fields around the head, and then you got bidirectional streams. They do use infrasound and ultrasound, but they also just use like photonic energy, directed energy, which is basically light, and it's working within those electromagnetic fields around the head, it's usually a bidirectional stream of adaptive directed energy. So I need to get more information about exactly all of the protocols, all of the types of ways they make electromagnetic fields around light. all of the ways that they, put a frequency. I think a good, I think this, let me pull it up again. This was really good, I think. This little chart, which it says the different kinds of ranges of frequencies that they use to actually control certain areas of the brain, because certain areas of the brain work at different frequencies. So if they're going to try and do stuff, they're going to be doing stuff to your, like, probably your motor cortex, your auditory cortex, your visual cortex, and all that. So they're going to have to, like, have, I can never remember that word. They're going to have a bunch of different frequencies working at the same time to affect those certain parts of the brain. Yeah, future knowledge, adaptive is the key word, Kyle. Yeah, and it's, it is adaptive, but with the defenses, what I found is you get relief, they adapt a little bit, they maybe push you back about 10%, like you get about 80% relief, they're going to grab about 10 to 15% back by adapting, but usually they'll hit kind of a roadblock, they'll hit a plateau, you know what I'm saying? So it's adaptive, it is, people are right about that, but the defenses can still work against it, Future knowledge says, think of ways to attack their software and sensors. No idea is too crazy to try. And I agree, future knowledge. Just don't know how we'd attack their software because we can't, we can't physically get to it. Now I'll talk to you about that, off YouTube. I'll see what you're kind of thinking, if I can help you with it at all. So Generation says implant scanning at Melinda Kidder costs $2,500, no more and no less. Dr. Hildy is another thing, not to be confused. Yeah, but I'm not trying to, in Generation, I'm not trying to tell people not to go do that. But I was hearing that to go to both of them, which was required or something, it was like $10,000 to $15,000. But I'll call so that I'm not, okay, so I'm taking that back. I'm not sure. I need to confirm it with Melinda Kidder, because I'm definitely not trying to stop people from going and seeing Melinda Kidder. Okay, Generation. So I'm not just going to throw numbers out there. Let me confirm exactly how much it is to go see Melinda Kidder and get the full workup for implants, and then I'll tell you guys. So I don't want to just throw a price out there, but I was hearing to go to her and Stanager, it was a lot of money. But I know that that's a. Have you gone to see them, Generation, or you just? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'm gonna get some real prices from that. I don't know. I don't know how. I just don't know how legitimate those scans are, because everybody comes out saying, yeah, I've got a body area network. I got a body area network of all these chips in me, and it's like I'm just not. I don't know. I got to check it out. We got to try everything. It's true. So yeah, Generation, the basic scans at Melinda Kidder are $2,500. I did confirm. Okay, so basic scans. I don't know what you get with that, but basic scans are $2,500. Okay, thank you, Generation. And I just need to do. Yeah, so Brian 2 said Melinda Kidder's examinations are useless to prove attacks. Yeah, but maybe they could take them out. I mean, has anybody gotten them taken out? I got to do more research on it. I just wanted to read you guys this document. I wanted to put that out there so y'all could share it. I'm gonna Generation. I'm gonna look into it. I've just been like busy. Like, we've all got to be doing stuff. If people are really interested in that, it would be awesome if y'all could make some videos on it. Let me know, and I can send people those videos. I will, but like it's hard for me to. I have so much stuff I want to go through, and to be honest, I was doing conference calls for a long time, and people were like, "Hey, we went to Melinda Kidder and Dr. Stanger, and they gave us this thing that said we had body area networks, and everybody's just saying they had body area networks." So I was just like, and you didn't get them taken out or anything. But apparently there were some myths about her like going to court and people winning court cases and ending the targeting. But I didn't see I didn't see any proof of any of that. But so I've got to look into it. We talked about it like months ago, and I've got to look into it. It's just when everybody was going to them, I didn't see a lot of like they were targeted individuals who got these results, and they were still on the conference calls, and they were still being targeted. They'd spent a bunch of money, but they didn't get the implants taken out. So I'm like, maybe it's different though. Maybe she's taking them out now. Maybe it's better evidence or whatever. I never talked to a targeted individual that was like, oh, well, I have like an implant in my jaw, or I have one. It was always body area networks, which is apparently like the nanotechnology that bunches up in our bodies. Everybody had a body area network. And that makes me a little bit like, everybody just has a body area network. You don't get, there's no non-consensual implants put into you like while you're having surgery or anything. It's just this nanotechnology that creates body area networks in our body, and that's it. You know, yeah, I'm gonna look into generation. Thank you, and I read your information on it. It's important. I've just heard from a lot of TIs like that they thought it was a waste of money, and I don't think I'd have enough money to even go see. You know, I'm gonna check it out. I'm doubtful, but I shouldn't be because it's somebody trying to help us. So I'm gonna check it out. So I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna yeah, dude. Generation. I just like I was I did conference calls and everybody would come on saying, yeah, I got my thing. I went to Malin and Kidder and I have a body area network. There's like this frequency coming from this part of the body area network. There's this frequency coming from this part of the body area network. There's this frequency, and they're all coming from different companies. Like this part of the body area network, the frequency's coming from a different part from this company, and they were specific companies, so it was like 10 companies sending frequencies to that one person, and it just didn't sound right to me. But maybe I just don't know enough about it. Yeah, generation says you mentioned someone court case he won. He used Dr. Hildy. Oh, what's his name? Not Richard Kane, but the other guy, James Walper. Did he use? He used Dr. Hildy. Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard a lot of good things about him. I've heard a lot of bad things about him. So it's like split. Like a lot of TIs are like, they're great, and they'll come and do a court case, but really no court cases were won, I guess, unless they were gag order court cases, which is like a bunch of myths that I've heard about. And then a lot of people said it's a waste of money. They just said I had body area networks, but you really can't get them out because they're clumps of nanotechnology. So I've heard differing opinions on it, but that when you hear differing opinions on something, that means you need to check it out. I just haven't. Like it's not because like I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't think that I really am. It's just, dealing with the targeting and figuring out stuff to talk about. I don't know. I just haven't heard any like concrete success stories where they're targeting in it and they got their implants taken out. But I need to look into that more. Generation. So generation. Did you get a scan from Melinda Kidder? Generation says, remember Richard Kane court case? He used Dr. Staniger and Dr. John Hall. Another option, Dr. Rima LeBeau. Okay, Dr. Rima LeBeau, Dr. Staniger, and Dr. Hall. Well, thank you. Yeah. Generation. Please send it to me in an email, so I can I'm just gonna call Dr. Kidder. I'm gonna call Dr. Kidder and call Dr. Staniger, see how much money it costs for whatever they're doing. If they can help us in court, I'm just going to call them and see what kind of information I can get. Artist of El Elian says, I'll bust an Akira and break the sensors. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I kind of want to do that next, because if we could, I haven't heard any TIs that are like, yeah, I got the implants out. Maybe they wouldn't tell us. maybe the targeted individuals that did find somebody to get the implants out would kind of shut their mouths. And I couldn't imagine that, because if I could get implants out, I would. I don't care. I would tell everybody about it. But maybe that happened. Maybe I don't think Melinda Kidder took them out or Dr. Staniger took them out, but maybe they directed them to a doctor to actually take them out. I would just think that, I think there'd be something if they're giving you a scan of implants, that there would then be like, well, we can take this out. And I can just do a little surgery and take it out. But it's just like you have this body area network. I don't know what you want to do about it, but here's your evidence that it's there. I don't know. I guess I need to look into it more. I definitely do. Definitely got to look into it more. And I will. That's going to be one of my next things to do. Okay, guys, I love y'all. I'm going to go ahead and close it down for the night. And then when the live stream gets posted, on YouTube, I'll put the links to these articles in the description box. In Generation, I'd appreciate it if you just send me any information, like Melinda Kidder's number, Dr. Staniger's number, or anything like that. And then I'll just do, I don't know if they want me to put all that out. I'll talk to Dr. Kidder and see what she wants me to do, because I'm going to tell her I have a channel which hundreds of TIs watch, and then we'll see what she wants me to put out. Because I'm sure it wouldn't be bad, if a lot of targeted individuals who didn't know about that could then go there. I don't know how many would have the money to do it, but thanks, man. Yeah, Cheryl Lewis says she's going to become Incredible Hulk and bust them out, bust the implants out. On the Flash, what he does sometimes when he's poisoned and stuff is he'll change his vibration, and then the poison comes out. So what we could do is we could learn how to change our vibration, vibrate rapidly, and then the implant would just go, because it wouldn't be part of our body, right? It'd be like everything that's not part of our body, like even like fillings and stuff for our teeth, they'd all come out of our body, and we just have what's naturally inside us, all the nanotechnology and everything. You start vibrating, and it's good. I wish. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'm gonna kind of close it down for tonight. I gotta call my buddy in Canada and see what he's doing with the ZVS driver. I gotta do that. I gotta get on that Melinda Kidder and Dr. Staniger stuff. I'm gonna chase down that lead and then see if I just don't like. I feel like if somebody found a way to get the implants out, wouldn't they have told us? Wouldn't that just be spreading around everywhere, or would it not be? It's like, maybe not. Maybe TIs who found some place to get the implants out, they're like, hush, hush, I ain't telling anybody about that. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine knowing so many people suffering, not, finding like a solution like that and just being like, I'm not going to put that out. I couldn't imagine. Like this situation where so many people are suffering, it's like there is no choice. I mean, this is so bad, but there's no choice on what we should do, and no matter what the consequence. Sometimes I say, like, my mom's being targeted really hard, but she would want me to do this. Like, she would want me to help people. She'd want me to do the right thing, even if it meant she was going to be targeted. That's an impossible thing in my head, impossible. But this doesn't change what we should do, guys. How this is, how bad it is, what our parents, what our family thinks about us, or it doesn't change our actions. We got to do what's right. I love you guys. I hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. We're moving forward, guys. So many leads that we can chase. Try and become a node of information, guys. And thank you. And all the targeted individuals putting information in the chat. If some targeted individuals who are very good at research could like follow these leads, learn more targeted individuals learn about these things. I'm going to be trying my hardest, but like, I'm like getting hit really hard, and sometimes it's hard to just go through these articles. But I really got to get on it. I'm going to get on it, guys. I love you too, Tanya. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Deb. You do too. You really help me. Thank you, all my moderators. Make a, make Cheryl. Oh, I can't do it on my computer. I'll make her a moderator next time. Yeah, Wayne Moore says, thank you, team. Keep fighting. Yeah, and probably this week, I'm kind of tired tonight. I just wanted to go through this information, but I'll do like a hangout or something. I'm going to get my ass on track, start working out, start trying to find some adrenaline and energy and do more. I'm really exhausted, guys. So I got to do something. I mean, my defenses are working pretty good. It's maintainable. Like it's not. I'm not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die every day, but it's bad. It's like where I have no adrenaline. You know, my spine feels like it's burnt out. It's still pretty bad. I gotta do some things. Gotta pick ourselves up, neutralize this stuff, and just get more and more energy. Thanks, David, for coming. David Irwin says good night and God bless. I love you guys. Y'all stay strong. Let's keep moving forward. Hey, Alina. Alina comes says thanks, Kyle. Dan Saris. Hey, Dan. Thanks for coming on that that hangout. You had a lot of great ideas. Please go watch that. I'm not sure when it was, but Dan, Wayne, HR Puff and Stuff. I forgot who else was on. A Guy was on there. It was a great hangout. And Dan had a lot of great ideas. Guy had a lot of great ideas. I want to do some more of those, but I get so tired. And I'm like, if we do one of those, it's going to be like 4 hours. And I'm like, my stamina is not that great. But I'm gonna get there, guys. We're gonna do some more of this. I'm gonna do some more stuff. We got to keep going. Okay, so Wayne Moore says, someone do a vid on home surveillance. Okay, someone do a vid on home surveillance. I've got it in the condo that I live in. I've got surveillance out there, surveillance in the parking lot. So it's kind of good. Like my maintenance guy is the only person who can like do stuff in here. He's the only one who can like be seen on camera coming into my place. But I think that is necessary because they'll break in your home, put toxins in your home, break things, connect your water pipes up to like toxins and things like that. I've been very surprised that my ZVS driver has not been broken. Although they might have broken it and it still seems like it's running. They may have got somebody who knew what to disconnect so it would sound like it's running, but no, because the Tesla coils are heating up. I'm very, very surprised that they have not broken this. Turn it off. I close the door when I go out. I have certain methods, but yeah, somebody else who has like a house that they've gotten surveillance stuff for, you need to do a video on that. And I'll tell people about that video because me, it's the condo surveillance that I'm using. Yeah, Wayne Moore said, keep them vids coming, Chris. So Wayne, who do we, if you have videos at the end here, say, hey, my channel is this, and I'm making it, please promote your channels in my comments. Please promote your channels, guys. Ella Advocate, Melbourne, OZ says, Brian too, hope you're okay. I'm pre-planning for an easy to pack up and leave lifestyle. Please be careful. Yeah. Yeah, I've moved so many times and I haven't found relief from that. So my decision, but people have to try everything. My decision is to hunker down and get shielding that can bring it down to like I'm at about 80% intensity of my targeting when I have all my defenses on. When I was moving around and trying to get away from it, it was worse. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't decrease the intensity. So I decided to hunker down and work on the defenses. But try everything, you know. I mean, Brian's trying to go everywhere and maybe he'll find relief somewhere, you know, maybe so. But I just haven't seen a lot of luck with that. I see that you're kind of out and about and it maybe makes the gang stalking a little bit worse. Maybe we can find somewhere where it's less. You know, maybe some targeted individuals already have, but maybe they're just not telling us. Maybe they're just like, okay, I don't want to tell too many people about because it may, you know, they may start hitting, they may get their infrastructure here or something like that. I don't know. Everybody follow every angle, do everything that you think is going to get us closer. I think that that angle of, I think more targeted individuals need to go to Melinda Kidder and Dr. Staniger if those are valid imaging. That's valid imaging, and I need to figure that out and check it out. It just seems like everybody was like, I got a body area now. I don't know what that is, and I don't see how everybody who went to Dr. Kidder was like, I got a body area now. And I was like, what? Because I think I have a non-consensual implant here, and I gotta figure all that stuff out. So I think it's very important though, generation, and please, you are so welcome to come to my live stream and put your information in the chat. You've got a lot of important information. Thank you so much. Yeah, Rick M, awesome. I think I'm going to close it out with that, guys. Rick says, whatever they do, our Lord will find silver lining for you, even if it means getting closer to our Maker. So let's go ahead and end it out in the name of Jesus Christ with Rick's comment. I love you guys. I'll see y'all soon. I'm going to put myself together and get more energy because I love these live streams. I love you guys. I know it helps you all. It helps me. I've just been doing this for so long. It's with the neuro weapons and everything, and psychologically, it's hard to keep talking about this stuff. It's very, very tough, and I want to find different ways, better information. It just gets to be a point, and we got to talk about that. We got to talk about how to balance. Energy goes where focus flows, right? Because that's one of the things, and I'm going to do a video on that, because one of the things with these attacks, they're 24 hours a day, they keep your focus on them. Then if we're always talking about it all the time, our focus is going towards it, obviously. I mean, I knew that from the beginning when I started talking about this stuff while I was being attacked, but there's no other choice. So we've got to find a way to balance it out, talk about maybe some different stuff, or I do at least. I think some people really have a good balance about it. They talk about it sometimes, and they go off and live their life. I'm kind of like, this is what I was supposed to do on earth. This is where God put me. I'm talking about this, but now my brain, after so long, is just like, I hate talking about this. I hate experiencing it. It's so depressing that my dad would say, we are who we are while I'm being murdered, and he's being murdered. What the frick? It gets to be overwhelming, and I'm sure all you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, but let's leave it on that positive note. I want to read that again. Rick M says, whatever they do, our Lord will find a silver lining for you, even if it means getting closer to our Maker. Our God is a powerful God. Let's trust in him. Let's keep following our leads. Let's trust in him. Even though my grandfather said, even though he slay me, I will trust in him. I will trust in him. We just don't know how he's going to turn the tables, or how he's going to turn this beauty into ashes, how he's going to turn this around. Because I've just seen it so many times in my life where it's like, no way, that can't turn around. That's the worst thing ever. And it's like, oh, wait, oh, no, this awesome thing came out of it. And God does that every day. So let's just have faith, guys. Let's keep going. I love you guys. I'll definitely see you guys on the next one. I'll probably be doing some short little videos, maybe during the day or something like that, of articles. Next thing, because Generation is a very smart person. He seems to have a lot of faith in Dr. Kidder and Dr. Staniger. I'm doing so much stuff for God, I need to focus on that, because that could be us getting some of these implants out. And I want to maybe track down some TIs if they will speak about it, if they got implants taken out. Yeah, we could really use that help. All right, guys. God bless you all. God protect you all. God protect your families. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Just stay strong. Stay strong, and let's keep moving forward. We just don't know what's going to happen. It could just right